Hey everybody, we're here with Felix, who is a PhD researcher at LMU in Munich. He's done a project with AirMiners Boot Up over the last year and a half. Hey Felix, tell us a bit about the project that you did.
Thank you, Tito. Thanks for having me. So what we did, we surveyed participants at Buddha before and after their participation in the course, and we wanted to find out how the perception of certain conducts of removal methods changes and how they entire perception and attitude towards these technology is maybe touched by increasing knowledge levels about all of these technologies. And yeah, what we saw is that the sample that we had, around 360 participants, did get more positive attitudes across the board, especially with regards to more unknown approaches. So, for example, biochar, enhanced rock weathering that are not as obvious as soil carbon sequestration or afforestation. They certainly did get a boost, but they didn't only get a boost, people also became more nuanced in their opinions. So they also became more balanced and seeing that there is drawbacks, there's disadvantages, and there's advantages that we kind of have to balance out across all of these options and methods, and we kind of have to create a portfolio approach. I think that is the main takeaway that we have.
Okay, awesome. So it sounds like with these different, there's kind of people's perceptions shift positively, but for things like biochar and rock weathering, it kind of shifts more positively. Let's say you're you're speaking to a startup founder, somebody that's maybe watching this message. What's important to them? What can they take from the work that you've done?
What they can take away is that this kind of engagement is very important for them to also have center on top of their mind when they develop projects. This kind of engagement can make or break a good deployment. We've seen these examples across all conduct and removal method deployments. It's just very important to engage these publics early on, to engage with them in an open setting, and also not trying to sell them anything, but to realize that um, jointly stepping through education, acquiring knowledge, means that there is going to be more questions and more scrutiny, and that's part of the entire process. So that's important for these founders to know.
Great. And can you just talk us through a little bit of the methodology and kind of what specifically you studied with Boot Up?
Sure. I mean, specifically, we have a pre-survey, so we have 360 people that we asked before they participated in the course. We did a post-survey, so we asked everyone that kind of finished the course, and then we also asked them about how specifically their perceptions changed. We measured this across different things surrounding risk and benefit perceptions, acceptability perceptions of certain conduct or removal methods, also moral hazard things, right? So people are worried about moral hazard more generally and are interested to see how that changes. Is actually support for climate change mitigation diminished the more people learn about conduct of removal? In our sample, we did not see that, which is an interesting finding, right? So we measured, let's say, method-specific issues, but also CDR perceptions more generally, and adjacent topics like perceived threat of climate change mitigation support. Yeah, and we did not see that carbon removal had a big diminishing impact on climate change mitigation support more broadly. And we did see attitudes shifting more positively, but also with more and more nuance involved.
Cool. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. So is the moral hazard argument is that look, by developing carbon removal, it means that we potentially don't take other actions on decarbonizing or things like that. And yeah, can you just say a bit more about eh, that as it relates to your findings?
Sure. I mean, how you measure this in surveys on public perception is mostly done indirectly, right? So you ask people about their support for climate mitigation measures, such as taxes on carbon dioxide emissions in fuel or energy or build out of renewable energy capacity. And if you then add knowledge about carbon removal, you would think that if moral hazard happens, the support of these climate change mitigation measures diminishes because people realize, oh, there's this silver bullet in quotation marks, right? We don't actually have to decarbonize. We just take carbon removal and we just suck it out all of the air in the end. And that's not what we want. So in our findings, we did see that there were no changes to the support of climate change mitigation policies across the board when people learn more about it, which we think is a really good sign that people understand when they engage meaningfully with these methods. Hey, it's an addition. It's something that we have to do on top. It's not something that replaces any of the decarbonization efforts we have to make, because also it doesn't really make sense from a scientific, from an economics point of view, right? So that's something that we did see.
Awesome. Thanks for doing the research. Thanks for again working with Boot Up for a year and a half to do these surveys. Where if people want to learn more about your work, where can they find it?
I mean, it's just been recently released on Environmental Research Letters, one of the interdisciplinary sustainability outlets that we have in the scientific community. But I mean, maybe if they have direct questions to me, they can just hit me up on LinkedIn, or I can also happily provide my email if they have any direct questions or ideas or follow-ups or whatever. I'm open to discuss anything.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Felix.
Sure thing. Thank you for having me.